Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Ootcast. This is the first of our retrospectives with myself, Rayze, and my compatriot Techno.
Hello, everybody.
We'll be starting right from the very beginning. Please note, these are not for new players. Like, we're going to be referencing future events that link back to things that we're going to see in these opening chapters. It's going to be riddled with spoilers. These are retrospectives, not like, like we're like the ones we've done so far per se. So if you're new to Oot and you don't want to be spoiled, please cease listening.
Yes,
And
this will be really enjoyable for people that have played the game, and you go back and look at things and go, oh, that's what that was talking about. That sort of thing. Not.
Mm-hmm. Although I'm sure we will only get a fraction of what's there, because it's Oot, and that's
it's not because we're not done with it yet. We're just going back over as if what was the latest chapter? 48. 48.
Mm-hmm.
So as of 48, all the information that we know now, we can go back through and really just, pick it apart and look at things and go, oh, well, that was really obvious. Man, crazy.
Jeez. Yeah, and I'm sure 5051 alone will probably deserve its own.
Oh,
yeah, these are all the things
yeah.
we missed. We did this just not that long ago. But
so,
that's just the way it goes.
Yep, so excited for that. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So we won't be going through and reading every single thing as we go through here because it's going to take way too long. We are just going to skip past, kind of just, notice little things as we go through. Probably go pretty fast.
But this opening narration is very important because obviously it's an establishing thing. And it's the neutrality of the fact it's female voice, male voice in itself means that we don't know who's saying it. It could be anyone. So it could have fit anywhere in the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get... And there we see literally the first proper render. Oh, look. Kione shadow on Victoria.
Yep. And then, of course,
Kiyoshi, her father, who's lost his wife and is falling apart while also being influenced by Kione. Now, this was... a lot of the shadow effects were not in originally. People were confused by what was exactly caused all of this to happen.
Yeah, whenever I first played the game, they were not in there, and then I came back and was like, man, I feel like I totally missed that because that would have made everything really obvious as to what was going on. And no, he added that later, really making it pretty clear what's going on with the multiple.
I mean, the key reason was, of course, the introduction of the supernatural elements earlier, because otherwise it could have just been put to one side as just a delusion. But having the actual outline of a goddess pop up right away is,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, how much this influences actually Kione doing it as a plan, or whether it's just the passive effect of the sort of proverbial curse that she feels, the self-destructive curse of Kione and her shards, is another question entirely. But yes, a hard-hitting start. It's not often you get sexual assault right at the start of a AVN.
Who the fuck starts a story out like that? Jesus.
Right, Jesus, dude.
Well, I mean, it worked.
One way to make it good is strong impact. But yes, lots of Kione's effects there. Our gaping maw.
Yep. And earlier that day.
And the classic anime school opening with the sakura trees, and here's our young, impressionable CJ. And young, impressionable, well, maybe not impressionable, but definitely young and quiet Jamie.
Oh man, look how happy they are. It's so nice.
What could possibly go wrong?
Change. Cut forward to just
anytime after chapter
eyes.
10,
just depression.
But even back here, CJ is an absolute rare sunshine, if not in quite the same way as he will become posting. Oh, and there's another flash in the background there.
We've got Grandpa in the background, which once again, fucking Grandpa, really just the villain of the entire story.
So far, in many ways,
it's just Grandpa.
And you can make excuses for the others. Like, you can. Like, they're all broken and messed up beyond all recognition in many respects. But Grandpa chose his shit all the way through.
Yep.
And here's random girl. He will appear a couple more times.
I love this next part where Teresa just freaks the fuck out. She's like, "Why are you freaking out?" And she's like, just
I mean, you know,
terrible
yeah,
aura behind her.
Well, it's obviously her own anxiety, right? Like that stuff's meant to be like her anxiety and then fear and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows you that Teresa has had her powers from a very early point, even if she hasn't talked about them.
Yeah, I can't even imagine growing up with something like that. I mean, just freaking out, not knowing what you're seeing, all that sort of, you know, super fun stuff. And then, of course, we've got
CJ instantly doing the empathy thing because it's CJ. CJ is being CJ.
English? You're speaking English right now.
But shh, don't question it.
It's fine. Everybody speaks English, but not really.
And then Jamie being the peacemaker, which is definitely a role that you kind of feel Jamie has often been the one to fulfill up to this point. Not in a bad way, just in a, you know, CJ's going to be focused on the reassurance, whereas Jamie's going to provide the explanation. And here is Ashley.
Ashley.
I'll kill him! We'll continue forward. Roger, roger. Teresa with the classic granny glasses. Ashley with the chic glasses.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, immediately blaming CJ for...
Oh, well, any excuse to draw attention from CJ, really, isn't it? She is what she is.
Oh, man. Of course it wasn't him. He was the one that saved me.
Jeez! What a knight in shining armor.
Jamie projecting a little bit.
Yeah. Why don't you ever... See, that's the real truth of it. She was just jealous. She wants to be rescued. Oh, boy, I wonder if that's going to be...
No, that couldn't... No, that wouldn't.
No. Surely not. I wonder if this is going to connect to the future.
No,
I'll remember that.
Dude, I hate this. Oh, he'll definitely try. Succeed, though? Jamie, you have no idea what you've just fucking done. You've just set us up for failure.
Considering where we are at 48 and what the likely lines are from it, God.
Oh my God. I'm telling you right now, that shit set everything in stone. Everything was fine until Jamie said that right there.
Yeah.
And then, uh-oh. Real big
And here comes Leia. And already calling him her dog and her puppy because Leia would Leia, because she do be like that.
Getting into the actual serious meat of the chapter here.
Yeah, we've got the mini intros out of the way, just, you know, although not really proper intros. They're just we're picking this up from context clues, mostly, so. Which is nice, a nice natural intro. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like, you know, this is an intro to this character. We will now explain this character.
Yeah. And then, of course, the teacher will be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you still sitting around?
Classic teacher. Get the hell out of my classroom.
Damn, so rude. That's clearly the teacher that got his ass beat.
Almost certainly. Almost certainly. Did not just beaten, literally had his skull caved in, yeah.
You were a dick to me in high school. You're dying. It's okay.
Oh, perforation. Perforation. God, I hope that's not... We're just going to be saying, man, is that foreshadowing? Is this foreshadowing? No, that's foreshadowing.
This whole entire...
Look at that object on the ground. Look at that shadow. It's foreshadowing. Yes,
I love when my smartphone says smartphone on it. Sorry.
Classic. I mean, if you can't rely on a brand that's literally called what it is, what could you rely on?
Yeah, my favorite phone brand is Phone.
Phone. Literally does what it says on the tin.
Uh-oh.
And our first little hint for her.
Yeah,
yep, that's
well,
right.
because she said, "Is it your mom again?" And then
Yeah.
Fucking Carpo.
Carpo's outline. Not actually probably Carpo herself, of course, just an echo of her power. Although maybe Carpo. You can't rule it out.
My grandpa's old place. No.
Bye-bye. Teresa still being just, or even at this point, the most chill.
CJ, we can watch something R-rated.
God, so innocent. And then I can't today. God, they're just so wholesome.
Wow, man, I really have not played this because I do not remember.
You
that.
haven't? Nah,
I have not.
You have. Well, you should. Well, there you go. Yeah,
I remember.
All of them get their moment, except of course Ashley, who doesn't have Hebe's shadow appear behind her at any point.
I do remember. Like, I remember playing through the very. Maybe I skipped through because I do remember going to play the Crologue. So maybe I skipped through
Probably
all this.
did skip through.
But I remember seeing Kyon and Carpo. So I guess I don't know. I must have just fucking not paid attention.
Well, that one would be easy to miss there because without the musical cue, you would just skip through, right? So.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But already hints that things aren't all right with CJ. Like, oh, you know how much my mom loves spoiling you. Teresa also showing that, you know, something's not quite right with CJ in his situation, just from how.
You're bringing up a good point there.
I mean, it speaks to a wider thing as well. When you have such an excess of empathy that CJ does, it is very hard to be happy in yourself when anyone around you that you care about, or even in general, is not. Because you are so sensitive to that unhappiness.
True.
Don't get me wrong, you probably won't make it obvious. You'll do everything in your power to reveal it and to not reveal it to those around you. I mean, you can be forgiven from thinking in the beginning that this is a story about CJ and Victoria's romance, even with the other girls. Like, it's obviously very central, and I think it's important to note that it is the central.
Towards the beat. Well, I mean,
for much of the
you could still think that, especially because from the beginning of a good portion of the beginning of the game was them reuniting and getting,
and fixing things, or trying, or beginning to, at least.
Because as far as everybody else is aware, and I mean, we don't know a whole lot. Like, we still don't know what the fuck was up with CJ's mom, even with all the stuff that we do know. Like,
there are still some blank spots, yeah.
A pretty reasonable take you could still have, which would be, well, because of what happened with Victoria, that's why CJ got sent off. And it's like, okay, that's fair, that's
right.
I mean, yeah. According to whatever was going on with his mom, that's what that was the key launching point. That was like, okay, nope, you're going over to see your dad, not dad. Which, oh my god, we're gonna have to talk about that.
Yeah. And one of my favorite pieces of music, first time it's used.
Yes, this is a great piece of music.
It is absolutely one of the ones that really hits me the most. Oh John, I believe this one is a remix of Oh John.
Yeah, I really like this one too. And of course,
and it shows that they are already they already have a very powerful bond. Like, I mean, he's close with everyone, but him and Vic have a particularly powerful bond. And it is worth noting later on that it is said explicitly that Keone to Old Glory was the most intense and passionate of loves. Like, their bond was the most passionately intense, sexually and emotionally, compared to the other. I mean, they all obviously loved him deeply. And
now,
you can't really compare emotions, but it's like different flavors of the same thing, right?
It's also, I do remember at some point in the story, again, don't know when, I don't know if this applies for all the bonds that have happened up until this point with, everybody else that spawned it to him, but at one point it was like, this bond is like, it's actually just unbreakable. It will not break. Whenever it was talking about his and Vix. And so, of course.
Yeah, that's in Keone. That's when they're in Keone. Yeah, that's when they, I believe. And they're in Keone, and even Keone herself says it, like, she cannot break her connection. Even after the shattering, their connection is so fierce that it draws them that powerfully. And then, I mean, if you take a step back and try to look past Keone's trauma issues and how she viewed things through that lens, it's quite possible that the intensity is a two-way street, and that could be why CJ's always end up getting killed by Keone's shards because that mutual attraction is so strong.
So weird to me that it seemed in the most recent chapter. This is 100% spoiler. If you are watching this and don't want to be spoiled, just giving you another warning here. So Grandpa talks about how like only 10% of the worlds have Keone, and so that he's seen. And again, this is coming from Grandpa's perspective, but I'm willing to like unless it's truly out of his perspective, I'm willing to take his word for it that he's like in generally correct.
Yeah, if we
does that mean that 10% of like all CJs just fucking die like from Keone? Like, is it a guarantee?
Well, logically, that's what he's seen. Like, it's really hard to tell because Keone is the only goddess whose plan and approach requires her to basically instantly kill both her shard and CJ's and the CJ shard. Carpo likes to test them first, so that takes time. Orxos takes the longest because she has no plan to kill them at all. Her plan is absolutely not to kill them. So all of this adds up in such a way that it's hard to say. You know, it could easily be the case that the Grandpa simply would go to a world when the shards had already been killed.
Oh, and look who is lurking in the back of CJ and Vic talking.
Lindsay, who of course has only recently reemerged.
Yeah, but who is only now recently super relevant.
Yeah, but although it's all the way back then she was already a thing. This isn't like it's something that was shoehorned in.
No, you're right. Nope, this is.
And it was part of the plan.
And then we get to talk about Lindsay's supernatural powers here because there's no fucking way she saw what happens here.
Yeah, although we should probably mention because we kind of glazed over it just when we're doing it. The bit where CJ always finds her. Always will know where somehow, on some level, where to find him, how to find Vic. And that definitely rings true in Vic's arc, when he literally goes beyond her death to find her. Like, there is nothing that will stop him. Probably even up to and including twisting causality and fate. Because while we obviously do talk about there's lots of other CJ shards, it is worth noting that all of them acknowledge, some right from the start, some later, that our CJ is special. He's the prime shard, he's the core, he's the seed. They all use different words, basically add up to something being special about this CJ.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you could extrapolate to say his effect on causality is that much greater than even a normal, quotation marks, normal CJ shard.
Seems like a lot of things were leading up to CJ's birth here, so.
Yeah. Well, okay, then here we get, something's wrong. CJ, want me to go to her house? She says no, because obviously she's just had a traumatic incident. It's worth noting that Vic is distraught right now. She's going through real stages of trauma. She's in denial at this exact point, but it does not take much to push past it at all. This is quite a common thing where people try to pretend that when something bad happens to them, they try to pretend that it doesn't, because... I
mean, when CJ found her, she pretty quickly, switched,
Because she doesn't want to, burden him. She loves him. She wants to see her being weak. I mean, they're what, 14, 15 here? Less? 14, I believe. 15, 14, 15.
Go, 14's probably fine. I don't really remember, to be honest.
Well, they're in middle school, so because these are the middle school uniforms, so.
Getting punched in the face. Ow, that feels funny.
And then notice the mark on her arm. If you go back one. Notice the mark on her arm where her father grabbed her.
Yep.
And then that's what triggers her traumatic outburst here.
Yep.
Instant panic attack. And she resolves it with not everyone shuts down in the same way. In this case, she resorts to physical. She's overcompensating for the panic attack. Tears are still in her eyes, and she's desperately trying to overcompensate. Projecting here with her statement, you have to have the strength to fight back in life. No one cares how weak you are. All this is true, to the experience she's just had, But it's also worth mentioning that you could literally lift this word for word as something that Keone tells herself.
I was gonna wonder, like, where did she get this from, Vic? I wonder if it's just innate.
Both, to be honest. I mean, this is something you hear from survivors of trauma like this, and it's also something that, it's very hard. It's very much tied to the cycle of abuse stuff that you will often see.
And then,
but in Victoria's specific case, because of the fact that she's a Keone shard, it probably is even more intense. Say something, anything, tell me. These are words that get repeated later by Keone, if you bear that in mind. Say something, anything, tell me I'm beautiful, etc., etc. Keone believes that she's twisted and horrific and ugly, knows that she is on so many levels.
mm-hmm.
And here we have the arrival of Rayze.
Yep, the beginning of the end.
No, that's chapter 48.
Oh, my bad. Shit. Sorry. Hey guys, welcome.
And here we get to see a glimpse of, why CJ is. I mean, arguably, why he's so empathetic when you're the victim of long-term abuse like this. You either shut yourself down or you become extremely empathetic to others as a coping mechanism and survival mechanism.
And then
this is the most debated points.
I hate this because I don't believe anything Anon has said in Discord is a lie or anything like that, but this makes no fucking sense to me. So for those of you that don't know, CJ's mom is on the phone, supposedly with CJ's father. Yeah. Nobody is on the phone right now, according to Anon. And that may be a spoiler that you may or may not want to hear. That's fine. But there's nobody on the phone right now. And so whoever she's talking to, if she's really talking to somebody, we don't know number one, how or who, but it's definitely not his dad, maybe, probably not, but for whatever reason, it ends up sending him to California, which is where. I
mean, here's a theory that's going to really bake your noodle. If we presume that CJ has just had a traumatic moment with Vic, he, of course, his first response. This is something he mentions later, was he blamed himself for not handling it better, for not understanding what she was going through, for not handling it.
I think I know exactly what you're... Okay, keep going. I think I know what you're...
What if this his a hint of his reality warping powers
sending him away
as a form of self-punishment?
No, that totally could be it, and that would make sense as to
or even if you
on the phone.
If you want to stretch it a bit further, maybe this is CJ. Maybe it's CJ. Some element of OG's plan, because this is again going into one of my big theory that the element that makes our CJ different is that someone else is interfering with his coming into existence and growth.
Yeah, I mean it definitely could be. Thinking about that, which we've talked about before, it really could just be everything that happens is just because CJ doesn't understand his power, and that's just what Skydad is. That's just what him getting put
young
in,
CJ,
young CJ, him getting shoved to America, having Sarah.
I mean, if you think about it, his going to America seems to be a pretty necessary step in his growth.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. He would. I mean.
And more to the point, it gets him away from the goddess shard.
Ends up happening. Even in the dream world, he ended up going to America.
Right.
So it seemed like going there was kind of always meant to happen. Well, meant to. I don't really know if that's the right word, but.
But there is some element involved that always sends him there. Yeah.
But why? The only.
Well, I mean, in the dream world, it seems to be implied that he never lived in Kamigawa.
Yes.
So he was always in America. And bear in mind, he was made by Sonya and Naomi.
Yeah, because nobody
in America, as far as we know.
Yes.
Like, we don't know where he was actually physically made, but America would seem the logical thing.
Nobody in the dream world knew who CJ was, right?
Correct. Except Rayze, obviously, because even she didn't know his name. She just had a feeling.
Yeah.
This is Jamie not understanding, but knowing that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And everything is because obviously neither of them have spoken to anyone. CJ looking depressed and sad and feeling it's his fault. Vic, I mean, it's classic youthful not understanding, but
Yeah.
it's also very good though. It shows that they're not emotionally equipped to deal with what's happening. Even CJ's empathy cannot overcome the difficulty of this. Jamie, of course, instantly picks up there's something very bad going down. Lots of guilt, lots of shame, lots of fear going around, insecurity. No more pretending.
It's really weird because if we want to think that maybe CJ is doing this to himself,
Okay.
like subconsciously, it really must be deep because he pretty much doesn't want to go.
I mean, no, he doesn't want to go, but does that, but that conflicting feelings like this in people are quite common.
Yeah. Maybe, not what you want, but what you need, sort of, just...
Yeah, or what your subconscious thinks that you deserve versus what your conscious mind desires.
Yes. Which, again, we're going to get up to Skydad and stuff like that. It totally does make sense, though, that, it would be TJ's imagination. Like, just that it would be. Because of the funny PNG picture and all that sort of stuff.
But again, this is, like, even this sequence is an echo of Kyone. Like, this could so easily be Kyone's internal. She ran and she ran and she's, come back to me, but she's the one doing the running. And the sun, capitalized, had long since gone down by the time she collapsed.
Yep.
And everyone looking for her, including her elder sister / guardian. Wearing a dress that we'll later see Vic herself in. Completely pulling this random factoid that I've just thrown at you there. I don't know why.
I wasn't gonna question. I believed you. I was like, I don't remember that, but I'm sure you do.
Look, you know how much I like Vic.
I mean, I agree. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably should have put that at the start of the video that we're both like gigantic sims for Vic. So,
Yes.
On his way to meet the father,
completely
he never
justified
knew by the fact that she is statistically awesome. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
True science facts. Anyway, flying to America. Woo! Sneakers. No luggage. Notice the complete lack of luggage.
Yeah. And then, of course, CJ saying, Mom says he's picking me up at the train station. I don't see any adults around. Just kind of a weird statement for him to say, I don't see any adults around. I guess it's maybe he saw Sarah out of the corner of his eye and was just kind of like... Also,
yeah.
What is Sarah checking her phone here for? Very interesting.
True. Checking the time, maybe, though. That would make sense.
Yeah.
And she feels him, because the connection already exists between them at this point.
Yep. And Sarah's theme.
Hell yeah! Sarah's on the scene, bitches! Side note, Sarah's boobs don't get much bigger than that even 5 years later. I'm just saying!
No, you're right.
That booty, though. Holy shit. Sister? Oh my god, it's one of those AVNs?
That's right.
And knowing in the retrospect just how out of her own depth Sarah is with this, it's really ends a level of like, damn, she really is trying hard for him.
She is. I mean, I don't think she slips up here that much. Like, she seems like she pretty much knows what's going on and everything like that at the beginning. So, I mean, put on a pretty good show, making it seem like, yeah, no, everything's fine. I know exactly what I'm doing. Although, TJ bringing up really good points,
asking
like,
the questions.
Where's my dad? Why is no one else here to pick us up? You have a mom, right? Anyway, let's ignore all that.
You didn't pack a bag, did you? Like, literally, he is sent there with the clothes he is wearing and his phone in his pocket.
Very, very fucking odd, for sure.
So, I mean, you could easily explain that as Stacey just being a gigantic bitch. Which she is. But even so, it is very sus.
Very fucking weird. Yeah, had CJ been a bit smarter, he would have wondered why she dodged that question.
I mean, I can't blame him for not really thinking it through. When a girl that pretty takes your hand and offers to go take you shopping.
Of course.
But you could also simply say that the strangeness of this is in itself indicative that there's something more going on already.
This is a really good point. Here, hold on, I'm gonna go back. I know this is just a little small detail, but it's like he couldn't help but smile for the first time in days. So it's only been days since that.
It's a week since the incident. He literally since the incident
really
with
fast
Vic,
for
and
you
then
just
it's a
to get
week.
fucking shot off to America. That's just like instant. That's fucking wild. There's like no.
Well, bear in mind that we don't know if Sonya had a hand in that as well, because she's obviously got money and power and leverage.
That's the only thing connecting CJ to California at all, other than the fact that that's maybe where he was born, which we don't know.
in whatever timeline or event the Lotus dream takes place. Because I'll be honest, beachfront property in California.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I was like, there's no way this isn't a property owned by Sonya.
I mean, she's the only connection we can think of that has the money for this to make this happen. It's not
They're
like
really
Hayato's going to go out of his way to provide housing for the thing he wants to kill.
I feel like she's got to be pretty decently rich, considering everything we know about her.
I mean, she owns a penthouse suite in LA.
Yeah.
And lives there. I mean, yeah, she's not going to be shy of a few bob. Bear in mind that she was bought out by Hayato's company, by Hidaka Medical. So that wasn't going to be cheap, I suspect.
No.
Like, that's not like a small amount of money.
I mean, being the richest man in the world, Grandpa would be like, yeah, sure, whatever, we'll just buy it.
Here's
All
like
right,
$3 billion. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye-bye. What? Okay.
But I mean, this also does kind of make you ask some questions about. Sarah knew the house. She knew that it was going to be just the two of them. She knew, like, a lot of the basic stuff.
Do you think the person talking here is CJ's inner thoughts, or do we think this is a narrator sharing things?
I feel like this is a narrator thing. I feel like it's a
because I was like, as much as I think that CJ really was aware of how
he wouldn't think of his mom in those terms.
I don't think he would have thought his mom is psychotic, even though that's 100%.
She clearly is. Yeah.
I don't think he would have ever fucking said that, even in.
No, I mean, Anon has mentioned in the past that the narration existed in the beginning, but he used it less and less going forward until it's basically gone now.
Yes.
But you could also say that this is kind of linked to, every CJ has a Faye counter, Faye connection, and she's to him. But even more, this goes even deeper when you consider Crow's statements that Sarah is her counterpart as well. She's the right hand to her being the left hand of CJ and Old Glory and all that stuff. She's literally the missing piece on an even bigger scale than a Fae normally is, right? Mm-hmm. But then you could even take that deeper, because we know that Crow was born from Old Glory's flesh, right? Like, literally, he cut a piece off a piece of himself to give her a body, right? Yeah, she says that.
I don't remember that. I'm sure you're right. It's been a little bit.
Crow says that he gave. I was made from his very flesh and blood. In a real sense, Sarah is as well. If we consider that body she's using is the backup or spare for CJ.
I 100% think
that's the same thing. It literally is an echo of that. It's just done in a different way, which just really adds to it.
I mean, again, it definitely all ties back to the fact that all the gene mod stuff like that is just the physical world version of all the fairy fucking magic and all the god powers and all that sort of shit.
It's magic versus science.
But it being the same thing, it's just a different way to get there, and so it totally makes sense. I still fucking believe that Sarah's body is that. I still believe that's the thing. It's the only thing that makes sense as to why she's identical in every aspect to CJ,
except
other than the fact
XY
that
chromosomes. Except the chromosomes. Yeah, exactly. And if we consider if the basic biological matter is like a vessel that doesn't actually have a gender until you place the soul into it or create the soul within it, then that even more so makes sense as to why her vessel was flawed, because it wasn't fully intended for her or for an entity for that kind of entity,
Yeah.
right? And also bear in mind that CJ cannot be given power per se. He shares power outward, so he can't absorb power. He gives out power because he is power. And what is Sarah now incapable of doing, since she almost completely incapable of doing since she got a body? Harvesting magic power. She can't do it. It's her body is flawed.
Again, not like you really need to when you're bonded with CJ. So
yeah, but she didn't have the bond with CJ. Not in that way at this point. It wasn't until
no.
the fight with Crow that she gets the full connection, which lets her wield power. I mean, Crow says it herself. When Sarah punches her, that was it. That was all that she had from years of harvesting. But yes, we get some background now on Vic losing her mom and how much that broke everyone. We see how badly damaged Kiyoshi is. Only her elder sister is holding it together in that shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty fucking obvious.
At the funeral, she ran and ran and ran. He always had a knack for finding a cool instinct. I mean, it is in a very real sense. Sure. This is where we find the classic childhood promise. But we also, you know, the obvious stuff with CJ aside, we also see why Vic has so much self-loathing. Because from her perspective, he keeps reaching out and she keeps pushing him away, and he reaches out and she pushes him away. And she loves how much he reaches out and cares for her, but she can't reciprocate properly in her view. And you do that enough times, it internalizes that sense of shame and guilt. And then it becomes a building block for her self-loathing and self-hatred, which is a cornerstone of her character. Even up to this point, she's much better than she was, but it's still very much there.
Yep.
And that itself is an echo of Kione. Like, it's Kione's entire approach to fixing the OG problem, right, is to go around collecting all the shards of herself and OG by killing them, and then putting them inside of herself, where her plan is to apparently Frankenstein them back together.
Yeah, which is pretty much just to combine everything, which
doesn't
seem like that's
by
ever
definition, though, what she's literally doing there is trying to restore things to the way they were by forcing all the pieces back together. She's trying to return to the time before it all went wrong. And she obviously blames herself. It's why her loathing of Crow is so intense. It's transference of the hatred she feels for herself for failing OG and not being strong enough, not being able to keep him safe and protect him.
Yeah, it really just begs the question how, I mean, we don't know anything about what happened with OG and stuff, but it really just makes you think.
We're not defined details. I mean, we're not far ahead of here is where we get.
I mean, did any of them know, like, at all what was going to happen? I don't know.
I mean, if OG is anything like CJ, he may well have concealed anything bad that was going to happen to them from them as he tried to fix it.
Yes.
Because, I'll be honest, CJ would absolutely do that, the dumb bastard, but he absolutely would do that. Because think about it, if the girls thought CJ would be harmed by their existence, they would not happily, but they would end themselves. Like, they would rather themselves die than CJ die, basically, right? Like, that's a given. And I dare say that was probably true, almost certainly true for OG and the girl and his girls as well. So, if my theory holds true that the reason he did what he did and the shattering occurred was him trying to save them from being absorbed into him and losing their sense of self, he may well not have told them and then had Crow help him with it. And then, of course, because he didn't tell them and the only person left standing afterwards is Crow, who are they going to blame?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it really does. Like, I'm not saying... It really doesn't seem like what happened was intended, because I highly doubt. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, we might both be. I don't think if OG was like CJ, and maybe that's the point. Maybe CJ is better than OG for from this perspective.
Or at least younger. I mean, what we know about shards is that they are different iterations of the same person. You've made of the same materials, and there's definitely overlap, but you can still be different. Leia is very much like Carpo, but she isn't Carpo in her totality.
Yeah, but do you think that, like, okay, let's imagine OG really is our current CJ. I just don't see, even if, like, I could totally see CJ sacrificing himself. That's not the issue. Knowing that there is going to be so much suffering ahead for the 4 that got broken off, because breaking your bond is fucking awful, very clearly. I just don't,
yeah, but if your choice is between,
I don't think that CJ would have done that.
If your choice,
knowing that that was going to happen, is my point.
If maybe, but I personally feel that if the choice is between them suffering but still being alive and then not existing at all, he would still make the choice where they're at least alive. Because as long as there's life, there's hope, right? Would be the logic. Because you have to realize that the one thing that unifies all the goddesses and CJ is, at least at that time, I should say, our girls and CJ, though, is that the thing that hurts them the most is not their own pain, it's the idea of their pain causing others pain, right? That's one of the cornerstones of how they are with each other, and it's a big part of what makes their relationships work, because they care so deeply. Golds and reds give way to darkness. Gold and red, huh? Yeah, huh?
Oh no. One thing I will mention, we'll get to when we see the Crologue.
Yeah.
I still hold the theory that whatever I don't know, the way that it was portrayed, it seemed like whatever I still think whatever the original plan was for OG to do, I think was different than what happened, which is why I said what I said.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm sure there's been a lot of deviance. My personal guess is that his plan was,
I think it would have
been plan that far ahead with certainty. So he probably had like contingencies, but he didn't know how they would play out.
I would be willing to bet, and this again is just a personal theory added on to what we've discussed before with he did this so they wouldn't merge. In the Crologue, which we're gonna see, Crow seems really not like okay with what's gonna happen before they have, the before her and OG have sex or whatever. She seems really like, okay, this is it, and she seems really not okay with it. And then, of course, after that happens, she kind of like has her like, emotional moment where she's like, I'm not gonna let this happen. I'm not gonna let you fucking do it. Blah blah blah. And it really doesn't. I think OG walking through that door would have done the equivalent of like, okay, the bond didn't break, but CJ is gone now, meaning that they can't form together, and he's just spread out. But whatever Crow does there, and her, I'm not saying it's Crow's fault. I still believe that it was still part of OG's plan to do it one way or the other, but Crow causing the shattering to happen specifically that way instead of OG's plan, which was to remove himself entirely, which would make sense if you want to view OG as CJ, which would have been, okay, I remove myself, total self-sacrifice, nobody gets hurt. I mean, obviously they're not going to be super happy, or, of course they're going to be sad, but it's not going to be untold suffering like it currently is.
Yeah, no, I mean, that seems pretty plausible.
Well, I'll touch on it when we get to the Crologue, because that was a theory that I had for a while that made sense as to why all of a sudden, like, it just seemed weird, because if we're comparing OG to CJ, I just don't see any universe where CJ either CJ didn't know, which I find that hard to believe, knowing that shattering your bonds would cause as much suffering, or it was that's not what was originally intended to happen. And
I mean, I still stand by that. I mean, that's perfectly viable, but I do think it's also equally viable that he would still pull the trigger, knowing that they would suffer, but they would survive, because as long as they're alive, that's all that matters. When you're staring down the barrel of losing everyone that you love and everything that you love, and you can't see any other way out of it, you could very easily justify it yourself. Even CJ has his moments where he does things and he knows he's uncomfortable with them, but he does it because he knows it needs to be done. When he orders Vic and Leia to stand down, when the way he look at some of the the way he treats Crow, he's only very recently started warming up to her. Before that point, he was very rough with her, which, don't get me wrong, totally justified.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But it shows you that he is capable of that. Is he on a boat? What on earth could she be talking about?
Yeah. Now the question is, do we play this out all the way?
I mean, we can go through this, and we have to do some justice to Gianni's superb.
Of course.
But yes, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is, the vibe check of Oot. If you get past this point, you've got a good chance of enjoying the rest of it.
The vibe check, and my hated fucking thing to talk about when it comes to
Sky, that drives you nuts. I know.
Because it doesn't make any fucking sense, and it pisses me off. And what pisses me off more is that Anon said we could have probably guessed it by now, and that was like 10 chapters ago or whatever. I'm like, are you?
I mean, we may well have enough like points of evidence, but the problem isn't a lack of evidence. It's that the evidence we have can fit way too many conclusions.
Yes,
which is the hallmark of a well-written story, right? Yeah. It's that it's not that you lack information; it's that the information can fit together in so many different ways that you can't know 100% what's coming.
It makes sense a lot of different ways that you put it. You just don't know which one it is, and that's, I don't know, infinitely. I don't know if that's worse than not having enough information. Because
I mean, in some ways it feels worse because obviously there's the uncertainty and the doubt and the not knowing. But at the same time, it's the good kind because it man, it could be this thing or it could be that thing, and it's fun to talk about, which is basically why we're here. So.
And it could be. I used to think maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe it was like I wouldn't say it was a plot device, but it was just like, okay, that's what CJ needed then. Maybe we'll touch on it later. It's not important to the rest of the story. But I'm like, but then you bring it up again. Then you brought it up again with CJ's mom, and that's really weird that she would be talking to CJ's dad, but not really also to get him to America where he, fucking... Ugh.
Yes, with the Dragonborn chanting.
That's definitely Skyrim chanting, but we're gonna...
Yeah.
Gaze upon thy lineage,
and here we have Gianni with his voice acting glory, because man, this is fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am growing increasingly certain that this whole sequence is refuge in absurdity, to use the TV tropes term, where it's concealing a big plot point behind an absurd sequence.
Yet you gaze not upon your lord, but your sire. Welcome, fruit of my loins.
That was a lot of big words for CJ. The figure in the sky was too bright, his heat unrelenting, but it had to be. It couldn't be. This couldn't be anyone else. Dad?
I mean, it's interesting that that's his first response, like instinctively. He doesn't question it. He doesn't question a big dude in the fucking sky. Which, anime logic, sure. Porn logic, even. But, the ease of his acceptance, that's really fucking suspicious, my guys.
Well, I mean, a lot of things were leading up to this, especially with Sarah being like, by the way, if you want to see Dad, go look up at the sky. And he's like, what? What do you mean?
Right,
what do you mean?
What does that even mean?
What do you mean by that?
Your meek silence had me worried you were. What was the word used in this era? Ah, yes. A pussy.
Yeah, it's still funny.
It's still funny.
It's still funny.
Denies that very notion.
And if you really think about it, this entire interaction is pretty much calibrated to buck him out of his funk.
That is good.
Yeah, especially what happens at the end.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's my point. Did he actually get empowered at the end? Was that actually what happened, or was
this
it
was
literally
talked about
just theater?
earlier this month or earlier this week about like how CJ, how normal people wouldn't be able to do the things that CJ is able to do. I actually do believe maybe it was a little bit more hyped up. We'll see with the beam what it says when it hits him. but like maybe the wording was a little bit more hyped up. But like I do believe that beam did something, because
Yeah,
no
I believe
regular
it did something too.
person
I
is
believe that
going
beam
through.
is what turned on
Yeah.
his powers. Like it's what actually like turned them from being a purely passive background thing to something that he can actually channel.
Yeah, I definitely believe that, especially with the way that he acts later in the series. Like, he's pretty fucking... I mean...
But yes, but does it change his
able to
emotions,
face
transmute
everything?
his emotions? Does it actually get rid of his hopelessness and fear? But because it doesn't, he still feels all those things.
No. But I don't... Does any of those... Have any of those feelings affected his actions in terms of, like...
Yeah, definitely. Like, he doesn't exactly handle things great with Vic in the beginning. He doesn't exactly handle things
that was
great
before.
No, even in these early chapters. Like, he just waltzes in. He doesn't, like, take a moment to think maybe Vic, like, is someone that he should call first, or at least, you know, communicate with in some way, shape, or form, or meet with first to try and sort this out.
I thought... Wait, I thought... Didn't he...
He can contact Ashley, he can contact Jamie, they can give him as her number.
Yeah. Well, you're right. No. I thought that... I swear we had an explanation for that, which is why I was like, wait, didn't we know why he couldn't do that? But maybe I'm just...
Because her phone broke when she called him and she dropped it.
Oh.
Right in this upcoming sequence.
Chad of the
Proud Thundercockney.
This if this was the filter for the game, just as Anon is the filter for the Discord server.
Title you should carry with
I mean, it's worth noting that, for fuck's sake, people enjoy animes where if you actually translated the names of the protagonists and characters, they are equally ridiculous.
No, I know.
It's just because they're in Japanese, people think it's cool.
Yeah.
His real name. Yeah, because no one else apparently other than his mom and him and CJ know what his name is. Not even Jamie knows.
With great embarrassment.
I mean, bear in mind, CJ shows some real fire. This is before it was happening. Yeah, that's me, the kid with the stupid name. So it's not like it's forced.
That is
on
actually
him
a
and
really
stuff.
good, interesting point. Hold on. That's a really good, interesting point. Sonya would have, or Sonya's his mom, right?
Yeah.
Or
Sonya or Naomi.
No, it's Stacy.
Depends. It's both names.
Okay, right. Hold on.
You know, Sonya is not his mother, but I suppose she would, because his mother technically is Naomi/Stacy, because she's the one who carried him to term. But she acted more like a surrogate rather than actually a
There's no way they would have named him that.
Right.
There's no way. Again, whenever Therese's chapter came out, I asked Anon about that, and he's like, "Yeah, there's a third party that wasn't, explicitly explained." And I was like, "Really? There was? I guess that fucking makes sense, because I was asking how. I think I just asked if CJ was a solely test tube baby or whatever, and he was like, "No, there's a third party we, haven't talked about." And I'm like. And then that right there destroyed my entire line of thinking that maybe Skydad legitimately wasn't important to the story, because it totally destroyed it. I was like, nope. Now I have to pay attention to stuff like this now.
Tantruming against a god, your own father, nonetheless. Exquisite. There can be no doubt. The bloodline took hold in you well and fast.
It's interesting he says bloodline.
I know, I just took a pause. I don't remember him saying that last time.
Interesting. That's something he said all along. Because CJ shards just emerge. They don't have bloodlines. They just emerge.
Wait, dear son, I have seen you many a time since your birth into this.
In fact,
yeah,
I mean
okay.
a harem already.
Yeah.
You've caused my heart to swell with joy, my son. No, tonight is not about what I want from you. It's about what you want, Junior.
And what the hell is a harem?
So naive, so pure. Yet I know that isn't what you truly desire. But what the hell, close enough. I shall unlock the powers of your bloodline.
I mean, you could say the bloodline is just another word for, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to say. Like, bloodline is super specific because if we're right about, you know, everything, it should be his soul. But
Unless you factor in the essence that was passed over by Hector to
yeah,
Sexy.
all
Maybe
those,
that's
all
the
that
bloodline,
concentrated
all the
goodness from all the different universes.
yeah, maybe that's the element.
Well, yeah, because that would have been right. Because we're assuming that whatever they did to make CJ didn't touch his soul at all. It was just like a vessel. So
It was
yeah,
a vessel,
that's definitely,
you know. Yeah, but maybe it was the vessel was. Yeah, we don't know. Like, we just don't know. There are still things we just don't know. Like, how do CJ shards actually?
This is
emerge
Ucast,
into
by the
world?
way. Things that we don't know all the time.
All the time.
They shall aid thee on thy quest, but know I merely... You must discover your own strength.
See, he says this, and then he's like, "Oh, but don't worry about that. I'm just gonna like zap you."
This
If
is
you want
well,
me to-
he unlocks it for him, saying that you've got to like learn how it works and all that sort of stuff. What's so weird about this is this would not bug me nearly as much as I'm fairly certain at some point in the story they asked the other CJ shards that show up if their god was like, or if their dad was a god, or if they had a moment like this, and they said no. And so this bugs me the most because
Yes.
it really seems
Yeah,
like
that
this
was the first
character
gigantic flag
would have
for me
shown
that
up.
something wasn't right.
Yes.
Like, that this is tied to something that is unique
You know
to our
what's
CJ.
also a big giant red fucking flag? And I've asked Anon this like twice, and he's answered the exact same way. So first of all, CJ talks to Crow at some point in the near future chapters. I can't remember which one it is. About his dad, and Crow talks to him and responds as if she knows what he's talking about, and responds as if the context as to which he's referring to Skydad in as his god dad as true. Now, whether or not she's just fucking playing with him, blah blah blah, that, you know, kind of hard to trust Crow at that stage, or at any stage really. But Anon specifically told, when I asked, he's like, Crow knows exactly what's going on. And so that just fucking worries me that this didn't happen with any of the other shards, and Crow knows about it. And I'm just like, I don't think Crow's responsible, but it fucking bugs me.
I mean, the whole plan, my whole theory kind of does hinge on the idea that our CJ is unique, and what's happening to him is unique. Like, this hasn't happened before, right? So that would include Crow's interference and making her own shard, all that chain of events. If you think about it, CJ and crew would not have survived, particularly in Leia's arc, without Crow.
I find it so
He
weird.
needed Crow at her side, and more to the point, he didn't need old Crow. He needed new Crow. He needed Crow who had at least some of her faculties back. I can't think of many other chains of events that would have ended up with that scenario occurring. Because he needed, in order for this to work, there needed to be a situation where Crow was A, still around, and B, still was in a position to have her memories restored to her by Tsukiko at that point when they first defeated Kione.
I also find it weird that I don't think his dad never mentions Sarah, or I know, and it's not by name, but he never mentions the Crow, Sarah Fairy companion type esque thing, right? I don't
see
know.
very shortly.
Here,
I don't
we're
think
gonna
he
see.
does.
Little shit, mine ain't isn't what it used to be.
Psych.
Psych.
CJ's theme tune kicking in for the first time.
I used to think the colors in the scene were so fucking important. I really did. Like, I deadass, like, I analyzed this shit, because during Teresa's arc, I thought this beam was fucking, well, looking back on it, it's definitely
power because it's yellow and gold. Yeah.
But in Teresa's arc, I swear, I was like, dude, that beam was fucking orange. I remember it, and I went back, like, no, that bitch is yellow, and it makes no sense for it to be, okay.
Also, yeah. No, it's CJ's power color. It's the power of it's the color of the sun. It's the color of the sun.
Cowardice.
Timidity, despair. But he definitely still feels a lot of fucking despair.
Yeah, he still feels despair. So that was not true. Maybe that. Hold on. Maybe we just give it the benefit of the doubt, but that was for current CJ. But you could still get those things later.
Yeah. Maybe it was just a temporary boost in the present.
It's really weird because so he definitely doubts.
He definitely feels
hopelessness. Indecision? I don't know because he makes a lot of fucking decisions really fast.
But at the same time, he also is he also locks up in indecision at various points, like when he thinks Jamie's dying or dead, when he thinks, basically when a whole bunch of other stuff happens. When something happens that he feels truly helpless, then he tends to lock up. Yeah. It's not until Leia's arc that he starts to really push back on that. And that's when he has that time inside Carpo/Leia where he's like, he spends like just 2 days just watching the forest grow, right? Mm-hmm. With Aguri with him.
What do you see in this picture right here?
I mean, it's that's purple, which is Keone and Vic's color, surrounded by white, surrounded by pinkish colors. I mean, it could just be general other side power.
Yeah.
And that's his, I presume, spiritual core in the middle there, which is his secret soul or whatever. So
I thought it kind of looked like the flower, like
a little bit. If it was really blurred and zoomed in, yeah. No, I wouldn't rule that out.
Yeah.
I mean, bear in mind that the flower is what you get if you combine all four goddesses' colors.
I was wondering if this was like some symbolism for it being the center or some shit.
I mean, it would. It probably is. It probably is.
Although, so again, it says.
I mean, if you want to talk about colors, go back a few. Go back. Keep going. Green.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Go forward. Go forward. Amber. Go forward. And purple. It covers them all. In the course of this sequence, you get all of them.
And then the third power, the smallest, simplest, closest to a soul. Blah blah. I don't.
But that speaks to 3 powers, which is interesting to say the least.
Yes, well, because apparently it included, because he got shot with 2 beams here.
Yeah.
It included whatever, like those.
I love the fact we're still on the first chapter.
I know we're already an hour in.
Oh my god.
No, it's already over, dude. We thought we were gonna get through 5 fucking chapters here.
Alright, let's focus up. We can do this. We can get through at least 2 more.
Do you remember it?
And here we have another voice acting.
Yeah.
Do you not know this?
I haven't played this. No.
This is Cursed Girl.
Not since not since it was added.
Gently down your arm.
Yeah, this is I believe Cursed Girl's website.
Tracing your heart line.
Mm-hmm.
Tensing and tugging, pulling on that crimson string. That one day its source will come into
Crimson string, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you miss the 2 on your left?
The 2 on your left, the 2 on your right, referring to the rings. Add to it.
And then we've got the Crologue.
And here comes the Crologue. Now, it's most likely this is Old Glory, but we do not know that for sure. This could very easily be CJ.
Yeah, the only thing that's weird is that we don't see Tsukiko's ring
at all. But we do see Mizzie's shotgun.
Yeah, we
and
do
the
see
chains.
the chains in the shotgun. Yeah, it's weird.
As one would expect from Anon. Big old half souls, Angie. Four beams of light piercing him, then release him.
Mm-hmm. Again, we don't.
But the scars on his body, the veins, which are again outlined in the colors of his respective bonds.
Yeah.
Purple and gold veins on his left, and
so noticing that the ring there
is bluish, is cyan.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's blue.
Wait, can you see my cursor?
Yes,
Oh, damn.
I've always been able to see it.
Oh, that's right. You can. They can't. Okay, my bad.
Correct. But yes, it's a combat sequence moment. Give people their action fix.
Although, do we think this is on the other side or no? This has to be on the other
This
side,
is
right?
almost certainly the other side. Yeah,
Okay, well, CJ's hair is definitely not this color.
yeah, but that could just be the ambient color affecting it. Maybe that's not a hard and fast thing.
Maybe. I feel like we would...
Also, it depends how far in the future it is. Depends how damaged the body is. Like, there's a lot of variables it could be. That's the visor, which is a big deal. It's very symbolic. No one knows what it's really symbolic of, but we do know it's very symbolic.
Other than fucking style. No.
Other than goddamn styling on this shit, bitch.
I just don't think... I don't know. You're totally right, though. It could totally be CJ.
But, I mean, the big thing that rules this out as CJ, at least so far, is that it's just the lack of communication and the lack of emoting demeanor.
Is that what you crave again? Touch. That which we can never truly do alone or without. Touch.
Wait, is this Crow or is this... I keep forgetting, is this Crow or Curskill? No, this
I
is
don't
Crow.
know. I have not listened to either of the voice actors.
I keep mixing up the two. I've only been through it once since they added this voice acting in.
Do you still desire? Do you so desperately need? Am I still that which engulfs you? That which accepts you? The chalice.
This is definitely...
Yeah,
okay,
it's,
I was saying,
it's
this
Crow.
is definitely...
It's Crow.
The sentence is leading out to that. I was like, this is definitely Crow.
Yeah. I'm glad that they got Crow's
Okay,
voice back.
so something interesting here is, doesn't Crow have all the rings in our current version?
Yes.
Okay, so she
She's
does
got-
still. She
She's
still
got all
does
four
in this
here. Yeah,
version.
she does. But one of them,
One last dance, darling.
yeah. And then this is it's a complete form.
Her ring is completely green. That pisses me off. Yeah, there's no blue on that unless the angle is just right.
Unless it's the angle, or unless it changes color. Like that, that's not a hard and fast thing.
No, it's definitely fully green. Look at that.
Yeah, but then notice the one on his finger looks like it could be fully blue, so maybe it's a split of power.
Maybe. Interesting.
And then he summons his big bonk stick.
The color there is interesting. I don't know if maybe it matters that much though.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a sword made out of Kyone's power, because her power is the most dangerous for cutting. She's literally void. And here's our God. This is one of the only times we get to see Hebe anything to do with her form, right there on the left. And she is the tallest of them all. She's the biggest of them all.
I definitely still think that the reason why her eyes aren't visible is because she either has a visor or she has a blindfold on. I still think
that would make sense.
That's I don't see why else. Like, because all you would have to do is do the split eyes like Ashley has, or throw everybody off and have it just be one fucking color. Again,
Or just one eye.
Yeah, or one eye.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Ash appears in the other side with only one eye
Yeah, well,
at one point. Well, one eye colored.
one eye that she can only see through. Yeah.
But you see my point,
Yeah,
nonetheless.
no, I get what you mean. Yep.
But yes.
Again, something that we don't really talk about is like, what on earth are they like? They're fighting giant half souls, but what on earth could be happening that's causing them to appear? Why they're attacking them? Why we would be worried?
I mean, yeah, we're missing a huge amount of context here. I mean, it
Yeah.
could easily. We do know that other entities exist on the other side that were opposed to the four goddesses and Old Glory. So maybe they see this as a chance with a moment of weakness to strike and try and kill him and take his power.
Yes.
It seems logical.
That would definitely make sense.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Showtime. I mean, again, we're still not counting up to the question: is this the future? Is this the past? Is it both? Are we looking at a cyclical situation?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite shots right there. To no one's surprise. It's just really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to note that this is CJ doing the fighting himself, which he doesn't do so far in the rest of the story.
His hair is definitely blonde. It's not.
Yeah, but like I said, it could be the ambient color of the environment. It could be the state he's in from the damage he's taken, because he's already not well. You can see from those veins that shit is not
Yeah.
right. But yes, this is where he starts doing odd stuff. Because look,
So that's Missy Shotgun. But see, I really fucking wish it would have been something like, oh, the summoning circle was black and white, therefore this is probably from
purple.
the future. Nope, shit's purple.
Which I would point out that purple is Mizzy's signature color as well.
That's true. Again.
Crow's teeth glowing in the dark.
Exerting yourself so is beneath you, darling. Allow me.
I just don't see how. Again, we don't know at all. I just don't see why Sarah wouldn't also be here too.
Like I said, if it is in the future and this is a forward flash,
This is weird.
It could easily be the case that Sarah is somewhere else
missing-
doing something equally important, or maybe she's even dead,
Yeah,
or maybe he's already absorbed her, or like we don't know. Like it's this.
Yeah. No,
There are explanations, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I definitely think this is definitely just the fucking past, though.
Yeah, I personally agree. I personally think it is the past. That is my. That is my
we're
working
missing.
assumption.
We're just missing Tsukiko. We're missing Sarah. It doesn't make any sense as to why, like, what would be happening.
And
the
Kieran,
way it's
like, there's no
happening.
sign of Kieran, and Kieran ain't gonna be far from CJ.
Yeah. I was gonna mention Kieran, but I was like, her rings are exactly like the Sarah and Crow situation, so it's not like we would have any indication that she's not around.
I mean,
She's just
Crow,
not
Sarah,
doing-
Kieran is Fae. She's Fae. Like
Yeah.
she's a Fae. Like that's explicitly stated many times at this point.
Yeah.
She is a Fae, so she would have the same ring arrangement. He's just having fun. Just a little bit too much fun, but that's our Crow for you.
Yep.
And this is where symbolism gets high, and us theorists
Yep.
start
Wait,
slavering.
I want to
about-
read. Okay, so yeah, I was just making sure I knew what we were standing on here.
Yep.
And so
Here we have obviously the four goddesses representing that, with binding elements between each of them that should look the same, which could be construed to be looking like Tsukiko's colors.
Yep, they also
Your
they just
presumption,
look
it
like
could mean any number of other things.
they also look like the absence of like stuff that we've seen in Oot, which is like when things are missing, not quite supposed to be where
exactly.
they're at,
So
they
it could
look
easily
like
be that. So
that.
like
So
again,
it's weird.
very suggestive, but no indication of what the suggestion is at the end.
And I just wish it being 3 rings wrapped around the 4, it just fucking bugs me because you.
Well, notice also the pairings of the rings.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
Vic
yeah.
and
Well,
Vic and Leia, but which who have a ring for each other, I might add.
Yeah.
Like beyond just like the bond to CJ, they have a ring for each other. And then the 2 best friends are the ones on the left.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that's an oddity there is the link between Leia and Teresa. But he uses the sword to cut his way in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this all adds up to my theory that he is cutting into the bond itself here. He's going into it to break it.
You just see what Crow says here. It's been a while.
This is it, darling. Through that doorway, no one can follow. Not even me.
I will be skipping through this scene, by the way,
You
unless
got-
there's
yeah.
unless there's something that we need to like specifically view.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's not. Like, it's
Don't
just a
spend
sex scene after
single
she
moment
finishes.
worrying about me.
See, her loyalty is so intense even here that I just can't
great
see
it
her
sounds
breaking her
like.
word to OG to do something out of line with
Just
his
do what you
wishes.
must.
Mm-hmm.
Save them.
See, save them. Those 2 words are so key for me as to why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we both agree. That's
Darling?
more than likely why.
Yes.
He takes off the visor.
And again, her eyes. Just another reason it's probably not in the future. It's probably not. Probably.
Darling.
Yes, even physical contact's enough for her because of how he made her body.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of cheating, really, but here we go.
Yep.
Anyway, sex scene.
I won't. This can't be how it ends.
Yeah, this part where she freaks out is what bugs me. That makes me think that.
I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Yeah, see, that's this. I can't do it.
No matter how many times I will. This I swear on. I will find.
See, it still fixes. The thing is, I still think I'm right. I still think that she didn't explicitly do anything. I think that she gets blamed by the others. Bear in mind that she's only blamed by Keone and Carpo. Oxo doesn't blame her.
Well, yeah, but okay, out of all three of them, Oxo is the least crazy. Okay.
Yes, but that's my point. It is that when someone is highly emotional, it breaks. And bear in mind, that's a dream that CJ just had.
Yeah. Well, he grabs his chest there.
Yeah, no, because bear in mind, he opens his eyes and flashes back to Chrissy. Was all that a dream? That was a dream. That was his dream. So that's really solidifies for me that this is a flashback.
Yeah, definitely flashback. I mean, I don't really think that me and either of you disagree with each other on that. I feel like some people do think that, though.
No, I mean, yeah, it's a valid interpretation that you could put forward. I don't think it's likely. I think it's like, 80-20 that it's actually the past.
Again, so back with what Crow was saying, she was like, I just don't know what, like, it just makes me think that whatever happened wasn't the original plan. Not because I think that Crow fucked it up, but like maybe I seriously think the plan is that OG was just not going to come back and it was all going to be fine. Because
maybe, but then she says that she would still try to find you, right? Like, I think that there was a plan. I think there was a plan.
I'm sorry, darling. I can't do it.
I won't.
Yeah, so whatever's going to happen, she's
but is she just talking about saying goodbye? Is she just talking about saying goodbye to him here, or is she actually doing something? Like, I personally feel she could very easily be saying, I will not say goodbye to you. I will not.
But again, that implies that whatever the original plan was that she was never going to see him again, meaning that him putting himself back together probably wasn't part of the plan, which is what I picked up from that, because
or it could simply be that he told her, move on. Like, yes, there is a plan, but move on.
But okay, I think that's totally valid, but we're assuming that they had a similar
relationship.
Yeah.
But
why would she tell him to, or why would he tell her to not like try and reunite with him, just to forget? Like, if the plan was to remake him or to just
but he
come
didn't
back
know. Maybe
together.
he didn't know when that would be. If he doesn't know when exactly that would be, asking her to wait that long isn't something CJ would do.
Okay, that is a very fair point. I don't think that whatever happened, he knew, because everybody went fucking
probably
crazy.
Didn't know the details. Like, my position is that he didn't know the details. He didn't know how bad it would get. He didn't know the long-term ripple consequences of his choice.
Yeah.
Like, he just didn't know. But I do think that he did plan for the shattering in the sense that it was an event that he knew would happen and he felt was necessary. And he had my big theory is that there was a plan in place of his to fix it. Maybe not anytime soon, but to like bring him back, but and in such a way that it wouldn't have that happen again, like bad stuff happen again.
No, yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that's definitely possible. I find it, again, it just bugs me because I think of OG as CJ, and I just don't ever see. I'm just being stubborn about it. I just don't see.
No, I know. But the thing is, we just don't know enough about who OG was as a person. All we've got is Crow and Carpo and the others.
We don't even know how. Like, we don't even know seriously how super close Crow and OG were. Like, we know that they were close. Are they? Like, because we know that there's varying levels of that stuff. I mean, we've seen that with the other CJ shards and their own fairies.
I mean, were they Elin Nin?
Yeah, we don't know. That's another thing that we had a conversation about that I
lean towards them actually being Elin Nin, even if Crow has like buried it. Because
I
telling him that they were Elin Nin back then isn't going to help.
Yeah.
If she even remembers, because again, she doesn't remember a lot.
Yeah. I feel like that's really, I don't know. I'm on the fence on that one because I originally, maybe about a month ago, I was a firm believer that she wasn't because of how OG.
Sure, but there's the problem there is that if you recall what Orxo says you'll need a Fae bound to you tighter than any other to be your companion, which that's what Elin Nin is.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what that element is involved in. Like that's what I mean.
Can you have multiple? You can, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Elin Nin per se isn't like a. It's not like an actual thing per se. What Elin Nin is a declaration, a genuine desire that you will not reincarnate. You would rather die alongside your love than than reincarnate without them from death yourself. So maybe Crow was meant to die. Maybe she was meant to kill herself. Maybe she planned to kill herself and join him and not reincarnate. Maybe that was the intent that she had originally.
And then and then she was like, "Nope, we're not going to do that. I'm
going to find you again. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how long it may be."
I always took that when Sarah, like maybe Sarah's a bad example because if CJ ever does die, she dies too. But I always took it as like if one of them dies, the other one's dying as well. But again,
yeah, but I mean the thing is we've not seen any proof that it's a physical thing, even a spiritual thing. It's a declaration.
Right? Yeah.
It's a state of being that you are in or you are not. It's not something physical.
We are an hour and 30 minutes.
I know. All right. I think we just need to accept we're going to get like 3 done and move on, if that. And here I was saying, yeah, man, we'll just breathe through like the first 10, 15 chapters. It'll be fine, bro. It'll be fine.
We are so full of ourselves.
So full of shit.
We are so full of ourselves. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, we won't read out lines because that's just going to slow us down, my guys. That was bullshit. I think we'll probably just end up having to revert to our normal approach and format and just do it.
It's fine. We'll just do it the way we want to do it, and we'll get through it
eventually. I mean, there's no time limit. So you laugh it up, everyone. Laugh it up. I know you will, bastard. I mean, I appreciate all
everybody.
Of you.
I want to just let you know that Rayze is a lot nicer to you than I would be if you were talking to me in Discord about some of the stuff that you say.
Yeah, well, manners maketh man.
Oh, you British person.
But yes, very heartfelt conversation here with Victoria and CJ. And they come so close to making up for it. Like, Victoria, after what I did for you. It is kind of strange that what level of bad luck is this? And we all know how bad luck works in this universe, right? Like,
because it's not
an accident.
Luck. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
okay.
he didn't
I know that this is a serious. I know this is a serious scene, but don't come back. Forget about me. And it's just like, oh, what? Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he didn't know what to expect.
Well, because he didn't understand. He didn't understand that she saw it as raping him, and he didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
He didn't realize just what she actually thought. I mean, this is miscommunication 101. Like both of them make assumptions about what the other person thought and reacted to in the situation, and it's just spiraled out of control. Yeah, the most emotions he's ever heard from him. Then she goes into shock, drops her phone, and breaks it.
No, this is totally Kyon knocking the phone out of her hand. Bad luck doesn't exist.
It's when you're dealing with entities that manipulate causality, my guy. Like,
yeah, I know.
Everything's so paranoid. You're so paranoid.
But am I wrong?
No, you're not. Like, it's a totally valid take. Like, that's the problem.
Anything bad happens, hashtag blame Kyon.
Kyon did it. Hashtag Carpo caused this.
Yeah. That was the whole thing towards the beginning playing through. It was like, oh my god, this is all Crow's fault. I was like, this is all Crow's fault.
I mean, all Orxo's fault. All of her karmic manipulations blindly through the karmic web that she can't actually even see how it happens. She just makes it happen.
Because I think the original thing for it was all Crow's fault was the goddesses still believe that what happened was Crow's fault, even though we don't think so. And then it was just like, okay, so if everything's Crow's fault from the beginning, that means we can blame everything on Crow. We can just do everything.
Hashtag blame Crow.
Hashtag blame Crow.
Which we don't, by the way. We don't. Not to that. We don't subscribe.
I do. It's 100% Crow's fault. Nothing.
Wow, okay.
Nobody will ever have any responsibility in this series because we'll
except
always blame it on
except
Crow.
not even Hayate, because hashtag blame Crow.
We can just blame all of Grandpa's bad shit too on Crow. Why not? He wouldn't have. Oh well, that's not necessarily true, because he would have technically still been immortal, but Crow tricked him, and then whatever. We'll get to that when we get to that.
Someday in the future. This was a setback, nothing more. Montage. Here is a montage.
Thinking, CJ.
I won't give up. I refuse. The methamphetamine, the spiritual methamphetamine, is pumping through my veins. Strike the foundation of any man.
Okay, we're not gonna go through all this. We're gonna skip forward a little bit. We're gonna see some time.
Classic take on.
Oh, something important here. CJ's stupid. Everybody needs to know that.
I will hurt you. I will fly to Texas.
What's wrong? Very clearly, Anon is saying that CJ is very stupid.
I will fly to Texas, poop on your lawn, and then, I don't know, set fire to your gun house.
That's very Florida man.
That's why the perfect cover. They'll never expect it.
Look at that. Look at that.
With the side ponytail.
Yeah, Sarah haircut right there.
I wonder if CJ was a virgin when he first arrived, when he got there.
Huh?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. See, technically, CJ's not a virgin, even after what happens with Vic, but does he sleep with girls in America to gain sex skills? That's what I'm saying.
Probably not. I'm going to go with no, because I don't think Anon would have said that, ever.
I'm just idle speculation. I didn't say it was the case. I'm just speculating.
I'm saying.
But I do love that he does, like, yoga seems to be his main exercise thing. Like, yoga and calisthenics.
I don't want to be that guy, but Sarah's pants through the mirror there are definitely not... Anyway, interesting.
It's fine. That's going to be fixed. We'll fix
oh my
it
god,
post.
wait a minute. Hold on. No. That's absolutely just fucking Crow right there. What they don't realize is...
Hashtag blame Crow.
Hashtag blame Crow.
Dab.
Oh my god.
Dab of power.
His mind? Idiot.
Could you?
What do you mean? You can't deny the facts, Rayze. You can't deny that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sure that I can. I'm legal. And Sarah thinks that he's gonna leave without her.
Although I think it's really funny though, is that she's like, I won't allow it. I refuse, just like Crow, and then it's like, I'm gonna come with you, smiley face.
I mean, Crow says it to Sarah later.
Yeah.
There are times when, like, people, they don't want their happy, smiling idiot. There are times they need the stone cold bitch.
Yeah, no, I agree. That bottle looks so big in his hand.
You can get bottles of cider like that here.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah. Hey, Dad. I wonder if he just regularly would visit his dad.
That's a good question. We don't get answered to.
Does he just walk down there like once in a while and just, hey, Dad, how you doing?
I don't know. Here's the thing is, so notice how I don't think we see the PNG ever again after the first time.
We do.
He talks to him here. We do?
We do when Jamie sees him, yeah.
We do see it when Jamie sees him?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. No, because I was wondering about that. I wonder if Anon would ever answer that if CJ ever talked to Dad outside the points that we've seen it, but I don't know.
I mean, probably I would say he probably hasn't. This is probably just, you know.
Ye approach with a light and courageous heart. Excellent. Most your sibling has had quite the effect, I see. Have you thought about what you wished for? Heed my words carefully. You must discover the truth of your purpose.
It's interesting that he gives him basically no information.
Yeah.
Like, he just says, "Go figure it out, my guy."
This is why he's a fucking problem, because he's this also. But
my favor. Let their divine touch.
I mean, again, if we want to be really fucking nitpicky and technical here, he just made clothes be created out of nothing. So
yeah,
a form more fitting for their.
bandana and armband. Dump truck.
Yep.
Sorry, this instinct. Pure animal instinct.
CJ wasn't about to let his rival go unheralded. Not that he would have known what that word meant. See, CJ's just so stupid. You just don't get it, Rayze. Very
Early installment
clearly.
weirdness, early installment weirdness, early installment weirdness, la 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 la, cannot hear you.
And once again, let any who stand before him rue the day that they spawned upon their mortal coil. He didn't think of that either. See, Rayze, you're just wrong.
Yeah, it's just wrong. It's just wrong.
Yep.
Ashley. With the cat bell on.
Yep.
Hint to her original design as a cat girl. And here we see filthy other man. Kill him! Rah-ree, NTR.
NTR.
Sorry, I was just channeling my inner F95.
No, you're right.
Sorry, impression right there.
Oh my god, the real big bad.
Look, it's Lore.
Oh. Yeah,
Mommy
right.
Milkers.
Yeah,
Mommy Milkers.
my milkers.
And Vic is just straight in like, bitch, back off.
Yep.
Don't
Again.
hit me again.
God, see, dude. Nope, I'm not doing that about Victoria.
I want to
Never
go
mind.
to that
Never
school
mind.
that has mini skirts that short regulation length. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, when I was in high school, could we please have mini skirts that short as for the part of regulation length? Like, goddamn.
Reality is often disappointing.
Reality is often disappointing.
I mean, dude, girls. I don't think I hardly saw any girls that I grew up with fucking wear skirts, bro. Especially in school.
Which is weird. You'd think that they would. It's freaking hot.
I know
skirts.
why. I know why. It's because I live in fucking Texas and everybody here wears fucking blue jeans. So.
Because you're all puritanical fools.
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't expecting to actually agree, but yeah. Okay,
No. I do wish the fashion here was a bit different. That'd be kind of nice.
But yes, Vic doing her big sis thing, classic overcompensation and projection, and she still does not stop thinking about CJ,
Yep.
even like just in this casual moment. I like
Yeah.
monkey.
I like monkey.
Return to monkey.
Yep.
And here is Leia. Snap. Oh, good lord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. It's adorable even, but and it shows that they can function without him. Just there is a hole.
How long was he gone?
5 years.
Yeah. I feel like that's.
Trace is just
pretty
happy
decent.
he's coming back, and
Yeah.
then Vic's face. Oh no.
So what's really interesting at this point, they say, I don't know, this maybe this isn't important at all, but is he gonna stay with his mom again? And it seems like they don't know that she's gone.
I mean, they're a bunch of kids. You think they pay attention to those sorts of details?
No, yeah, that definitely makes sense. Wait, what'd she say? Maybe he'll stay in the dorms. Who's gonna pay for that? Okay.
And then Vic, and then of course
course.
Leia picks up on Vic's discontent with his quiet. Yeah, 5 years if you go back.
Yeah.
5 years on his lonesome. And they don't understand. He is evolved.
Yeah, they don't understand that he was staying with main girl for 5 years. What?
I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just saying those are fighting words you're putting out there, my
Well,
guy.
hold on. I didn't say best girl. I said main girl. That's totally different. And also, just want to point out that's coming from word of mouth from God himself. So if you've got a problem, go talk to God.
I'm not saying I have a problem. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that some of our listeners might take exception. That's all I'm saying, man.
Great. So
Chill,
now we're gonna start caring about what our listeners think. Fucking jeez.
No, but I was going to milk the idea of it for a bit for some comedy, but I just give you shit. But yeah, Vic as well is obviously out of it, but yeah.
You look like you've been run over by a bus. Thank you.
That
Leia.
really, really, really hits hard when you consider what happens in Vic's arc inside Keone. Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
just in my memory.
It's all fucking foreshadowing. Every single sentence.
Dude,
that's
it's like
said-
every fucking slide.
Every single fucking slide's foreshadowing. That's why this has taken so long. All important.
You joke, but that actually does make sense. Like, to a certain extent, that is the case. Because the more content we have, the more that anything in the past could foreshadow it, that content.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I totally
So
forgot
Leia,
that
Leia
CJ
definitely knows something is up, even if
Yeah.
she doesn't know what it is.
I totally forgot that. Also, just want to point out, maybe it's not that important, but at least this version of Leah, it's not important at all. There's no way this is correlated, but Stacy's eyes and Leah's eyes are the exact same in these earlier renders.
Yeah, I don't think it's correlated, but
No, it's not. It's not correlated. I just remember because I remember when Stacy showed up earlier, looking at her eyes, thinking, "Man, that really looks like the fucking rising sun on the bottom of her fucking eyes there," and then thinking that's the exact same color for Leah. Because if it had been orange, then we could have, you know, like, oh, see, there we go. We were missing it the whole entire time. That, you know, Uxo's influence, blah 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 blah.
Here comes our boy, and Ashley is big. I like it big. Ashley size queen confirmed.
Oh my god.
Well, I didn't say what the size was about. And then you can literally see Teresa reading his aura.
Yeah.
Yep. Sees his aura. Yep, still the same. Don't care. Everything else is secondary. It's CJ. And Victoria's just...
And this right here is the start of why everybody hates Victoria. And some people still can't fucking get over it, you fucking babies.
That the traumatized,
Yes.
deeply damaged girl
No.
sees the guy who she wronged the most and is most terrified of seeing, and then lashes out at him out of fear.
Yeah, but she's a bitch, so, you know, down with the character.
She said mean words. Yeah, we're mocking you. Yeah, that makes us elitist assholes.
we are.
We don't care. We actually don't care.
The whole entire server is elitist assholes. It's just...
I've openly stated it many times. It's, you know, look me up in the server, you'll see I state it. The entire Oots Court server, we're a bunch of elitist assholes. It's just how it is. Doesn't make it okay, mind, and that is also how it is. The skeins of fate are not so easily unwound. The strand of one individual can decide whether an entire rope will split.
Chapter 1, ladies
Chapter
and
1. Yeah, that was the prologue.
Oh my god.
To be fair, the prologue is substantially longer than Chapter 1 actually is. So.
Yeah. But we get some Jamie narration here.
Well, we can move through it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But this is actually where we get our proper character intros, more or less.
Yes.
So yeah, this is Jamie, very timid, Jamie before her upgrading. Sorry, for now it's actually his, right? Technically.
Well, doesn't she? I don't know.
Technically, Jamie is presenting as a male right now. Technically.
Well, no,
To the wider world.
Well, I know. I mean, Jamie definitely is pretending to be a dude because of her situation. But does she refer to herself ever as that? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Man,
I mean, we're already seeing that Jamie feels inferior.
yeah.
It's a powerful through line for Jamie to feel, but also feel how kind of low key or high key Jamie's pretty needy. Like when people joke about emotional support boy toy, but it's actually kind of very true.
Yeah.
CJ is absolutely intrinsic to Jamie's emotional well-being. I mean, from a certain perspective, you could say that the addition of Jamie as Tsukiko has made things worse because there's now a fifth goddess who would go nuts if CJ dies.
Except dumbass.
Okay, yeah, he's a little bit dumb in this regard.
But again, I know I was joking with you earlier about CJ being dumb. This is 100% just a trope, and that's all I attribute. I don't attribute to CJ being super dumb for not knowing. I think I'd be more interested to chalk it up to divine fuckery rather than CJ being stupid enough to not realize that Jamie is a girl.
I mean, CJ just accepts people. That's the thing. He's so accepting that
he's not very. He just doesn't look too hard.
Not if he takes them at their word. That's the thing.
Yeah. Very trusting him. Man, I'm sure that won't come back to bite him or anything.
I mean, if there's one thing that he definitely seems to be losing as we go forward, it's that trusting nature.
He's gonna become super schizo like we are towards the end. He's like, I don't know, Crow. Should I trust you? I don't remember what that joke was. I think that was a tag for something. Do you remember?
Vaguely. Oh, SS. That's one. That's 4chan thing.
Oh.
Or one of the forums like that, anyway. Best bro.
Best bro.
Bruh. But Jamie, why are you sad that he doesn't see you as a girl? Why, Jamie?
And then, of course, Sarah, laughing. Oh, no. I'm telling you right now, this is how Oot ends in the fucking subway station. We began here. We're gonna end here. Do we want?
Right, we will be skipping through these conversations fairly quickly.
Yeah, do we?
While they are somewhat interesting, it's mostly just reiterating character progression stuff. Just like
Yep.
Oh, it's strange he has a sister. I didn't know he had a sister. It's lots of that. So we can now start speeding up. Finally.
We're gonna go back to the subway station.
Yes. There will be something there one day.
We will. It's gonna be there.
I believe. Fucking like Mold with his UFOs. I believe. Something
What-
about seeing his father in the cloud.
I find that hilarious that he told Jamie everything, and Jamie goes, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I really wasn't listening.
But Jamie doesn't care. Jamie's just like,
Yeah.
CJ's back. I came back for you guys. Like, no pissing around, no messing around, just direct. I came back for you guys. That genuineness is one of his strongest assets. Like, he's just so fucking genuine, you cannot doubt it.
Roommates!
I mean, bear in mind that
Yeah.
Jamie fucking Hidaka somehow lost the privilege of their own dorm room, which I assume was arranged for them to protect them. And yet somehow he got the slot.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you know, probably just a trope to service the hilarity in the story. But even so, it's still...
I'm a big fan of Jamie's trope. I fucking love how stupid it is. Because nobody with a brain is gonna not know.
Yeah.
But then, of course,
A lot of these ones are just,
again,
just like, you know...
I know I made fun of you for thinking, you know, for saying that, you know, CJ is not dumb when I know he's not dumb, but that's kind of like the joke. It's just, it's funny that was the trope that went with at the very beginning, that, oh yeah, no, Jamie's a dude. Don't you know? Wait, hold on. If we just leave, are we gonna miss anything? I don't know.
As long as it doesn't have the sparkles on it, not really.
God, I forgot how much is here. No wonder. Maybe we.
There's
really
a lot.
weren't- Yeah, maybe we were.
Oh, they might want to see Ali.
Oh, yeah, that's at the mall, right?
I think it's closed, right?
Oh no, she's here.
Oh, they say, well, yeah, so you can... Here's Ali. I think she was the first LR, wasn't she?
You would be asking the wrong person. This is before my
Yeah,
time.
so I think she's Hammy's, or at least Hammy's character card.
Mm-hmm.
The somewhat mysterious Alejandra that we don't actually know how old she is.
Aha. Mm-hmm. Well,
Oh, really?
it's a long story. That CJ doesn't even know the fucking full thing of.
Do any of us, though, even now, like...
You just had to bring it up. Nobody knows.
No, I don't, except Anon, supposedly.
We're gonna get to the end of chapter 100 and it's still not gonna be fucking explained, and I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. We'll probably only get through this chapter. Oh, that's just advice for us. Okay.
Yes, don't worry about it.
Okay.
We can just go straight to school now.
Yeah, well, there's no point. This isn't like the Vic date. But even then,
This isn't like Vic Date or the stuff with Kieran where we gain a lot of insight. This is all just character building, which it's good. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely encourage people to play it if you haven't.
yes. I don't know
But
why
it's
on
not-
earth you'd be watching this if you haven't played it.
Or at least some people just follow the things and they don't actually do the little bits like that. I know it's anathema to us, but some people do that. Easy listening, just chilling, just vibing. Oh, my family? Oh, Jamie. And Jamie's like, wait, what? Hang on, one bedroom townhouse?
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. It's really interesting. Is she lying on purpose here?
Yeah, is that wrong? And Sarah kind of picks up. Yeah. She knows it's a bit weird, but
Now you've done it, Jamie.
but it shows you how massively like anxious Jamie is socially.
Mhm.
Like the moment there is even a hint that she said something upsetting, she drops how weird it all is and just goes with it.
Uh-huh.
Jamie, you gigantic pushover. In a good way, mostly.
Oh, you know what's really funny about this is I wonder if this isn't because we know that Sarah didn't really exist until like a couple hours before CJ landed in her body. I wonder if she just wasn't like used to walking the couple years leading up to, you know, them coming here, that like her walking around a shit ton was like a big deal. Because I would not, you know, not having a body for however old she is, only to have it and have to walk around everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Was he flirting with?
Yeah, was he flirting with Sis?
So oblivious. Fun to him like a kitten, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Vic. Vic.
Mhm.
Mind you, it's ironic that this is the time when Jamie will look back on this stuff with nostalgia, where, quotation marks, the biggest things we had to worry about was stupid teenage fucking drama.
Right. I mean, she's not wrong. Yeah, not much really to talk about for these.
I mean,
leading
it's
up
character
here.
building.
Yeah.
It's character building. It's scene setting, and it's. Like I said, if you've played, I'm presuming everyone here has played, so there's not a lot for us to really say.
Yeah.
So there's going to be deadly stuff. Like the reason the prologue took so long was that there is a lot of foreshadowing in the prologue. Like, holy God, there's a lot of foreshadowing.
Yeah, and a lot of it's still very relevant.
Yeah. Whereas
Chap-
this stuff, this is all relevant to the early chapters and getting to know characters and stuff.
Yeah, because we're still trying to figure out who everybody is, even though we've gotten character introductions. I mean, we're still trying to, you know, figure out everything.
With the lay of the land. And so, yeah, Jamie here is in the role as Peacemaker, fixing things. But you're a guy.
Oh yeah, you've seen that Victoria doesn't really put guys very well now, but you're a guy.
Chapter 1
Okay.
already done. There we go.
Going to head, and we're gonna call it the end for this. We've got it rolling out. The next one's gonna have like a bunch more chapters in it. I'm assuming that we won't need.
We say that and we will hope for it, but there's no guarantee, guys. Don't hold it against us when we inevitably fuck it up.
I think our original assessment was right, because we did just breeze through chapter 1 really fast compared to the prologue.
Yeah.
I think we just forgot how much was in the prologue. But
I personally think we're going to breeze fairly quickly through the setup chapters until the Crow arc really kicks off, which is
yeah,
like
I think so too.
chapter 10, chapter 11, somewhere around.
So be on the lookout for that. I don't really have anything else to add. That was really
No, I
good.
mean these are all just retrospectives. We're not going to be quite as in depth as the others are per se. Like obviously the prologue we did, but I think going forward we're going to be keeping it fairly light. We will probably have at least a couple of guests for when we do other ones once we get into the proper meaty arcs. But having someone on for the super early stuff is probably just a little counterproductive. So other than that, good day, ladies and gentlemen. It was fun, and you will tune in once again to see us completely screw up how much chapters we can get through.
Absolutely, everything we say here is totally wrong. Nothing here is based by any facts at any means. We just do this to mess with you.
We just make it up. I'll be honest. Everything is made up.
Well, I mean that's.
Made up.
I mean, yeah.
Time is a human construct.
All right.
Good night.
Enough of that. Thank y'all for watching.